I don't know about you, but when I tune into the word ego, it's as if we prevented this word when we started to separate from the pain body, when we started to put people in prison or stone them to death for having an affair or for doing something that we would perceive as bad. It seems like we invented this word when it stopped being okay to be in pain. And we started to put up masks to hide it because it wasn't okay, because it did get demonized in society. We carry on doing this today, and even in the spiritual world, what is happening is that we're using the ego as an excuse to not give space for this part in myself and own it and be vulnerable and be humble in what is there. Like, my ego wants this from you instead of like, well, it's actually a part of myself. That wants this, or that is judging this. The more we perceive something as bad, the less likely it is to come up into the surface, because it needs to hide. It needs to be pushed further down into your body. And how can we come into space of new earth when there's so deep judgments for being what we would perceive as bad? What I find in myself is that the moment that I judge someone, that is my job. It's my job to go within myself and meet that part of me that gets triggered in the meeting with them. Imagine if those that does evil acts would have a space where it's like, it's okay for this part of you to come up that wants to hurt other people. In that moment, we soften into vulnerability. We come into the core of the real pain, and in that we transform it and it becomes something else. We cannot act on it anymore, because acting on it, that's the masks that we carry. And as soon as we meet it and get seen and let ourselves be seen in the pain, the mask itself dissolves. We are not capable of doing the evil acts or being mean to each other or hurt each other. To be honest, for me, it starts with me. For me, it starts with having love for myself with all parts that is coming up into the surface. I've noticed this especially over the last year now, how much people hide in this. How can we come into New Earth if we still are, they are bad, they are good, I need to remove them from my life, and I like them in my life, and I judge you for this. Like, how is that New Earth? And I'm sorry, this love and light spiritual wave that we are doing, there's so much bypassing in it, and I don't find that there's much compassion and love and space for those that is showing up in ways that is very wounded. And it starts with you not having space for those parts in yourself. How can you see yourself if you perceive it as bad? If you put them all into a bulb and see it as the ego, you can detach as much as you want to, but these are the masks that we carry. Can you give it space? The more you do, the more that you will see that you have space for other people and capacity. You will also notice that you get less and less high sensitive and drained by what you would before perceive as bad energy, negative energy. What if it isn't? It's just lower and higher frequencies, yes, but I find myself having a lot more capacity and energy for ever energies that people come in with. It doesn't drain me like it did before. And before I would call myself high sensitive. And I would love to ask a triggering question for you. Those in the world that is doing evil acts or that we would perceive as bad, can you give space for what it triggers in you? Can you give it so much space and be very honest with what it moves in you? Sometimes I find myself having desires or parts of myself that wants to do the same. And in that process, I've been meeting myself in past lives where I have been the one doing evil acts to others.